Hi guys. That was weird. Weird intro, but I don't care. I just showered and it feels good because I haven't showered for a couple days because my mental health haven't been the greatest lately. But reading your comments actually makes it better. So yeah. I thought I would make this, and if I look down, it's because I'm drawing, as you might have figured out. But the reason I'm making this video is that I thought I would come out with a video, like clear cut, telling you about my experience getting diagnosed with schizophrenia, and I actually got this idea when I was talking to one of you guys. You know who you are. And I thought that would be a great idea. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, basically, first time, we figured, like, ever since I was a kid, I was kind of off. I was a little weird, more than normal. So I was pushed to go to a therapist to talk with her, but I really didn't want to because I didn't see a need for it, because in my book I was normal, and it was the other kids that was weird. So I ended up talking to this therapist, and I didn't really get anything out of it because, as I said before, I didn't think I needed it. So I just didn't listen to what she said because I also was a little rebel child. I did not want to do what people said I should do. Anyways, I got into the child psychiatric, is that how you say it? Hospital, where they like evaluate you and see if they find that you have any diagnosis. And they ended up diagnosing me with a personality disorder, which basically just boils down to, like, imagine it being a child version of BPD, which is borderline personality disorder, which is what it basically was. I also had been told that I had ADD, which is just ADHD without the hyper. So the difficulty concentrating about stuff, and that also affected my schoolwork a lot because I couldn't concentrate on my homeworks, and so I got really far behind, and that was not good. Anyway, when it really started to take off was when I went to something we have here in Denmark called after school, which basically translates, as the name would suggest, a school after school, which is probably like college to you. But yeah, I went to that. And the first year I went, everything was like, in my book, fine. I didn't feel good or happy, but I was fine. I managed to survive. Anyways, and at the end of the first year of after school, I began to think that I had gained weight, and because I was not really worried about my weight at that time, I did end up gaining more than a few pounds, but I wasn't like what you would call fat. I just had a little meat on the sides. I had curves, But yeah, and I stepped on the scale, and I was horrified of what I saw, even though it was a normal weight. My BMI was there what it should be. But anyways, that summer, I looked up and searched up how to get healthy with food and exercise and all that jazz, so I could lose weight the healthy way. So when I started the second year, I started to eat healthier and work out, like running and doing like stretching, yoga, all that. So I ended up dropping down at the start of my journey, what the hell you can call it. I weighed around 59 kilos, which is like maybe 160 pounds, maybe around there. So it's kind of normal, but you know, in the larger side. My nose really itches, so sorry. Anyways, so I started to lose weight, and I went from 160 to around maybe 130 in like half a year, I think. But then things started to go wrong because I wanted to lose weight faster, and all I thought about was weight. Like weight and food was on my mind constantly. So I thought, well, if I didn't eat anything, I couldn't gain any weight because I wouldn't intake any calories. So I thought that was a good idea to restrict on my eating. Well, it ended up me being like from 130 pounds and 130 pounds to, in half a year, I went from 130, as I said, to around, I don't know, maybe 110 or 105 pounds. So yeah, I went really quickly and went very fast. And so yeah, I started self-harming in the meantime of my weight loss, because every time I ate something and I didn't throw up, I felt so bad that I needed to self-harm. So the eating disorder voice would go away, because that voice wasn't really nice to me. Anyways, so yeah, that's when I started taking up the self-harm. Then when I graduated, I don't know, I got out of that school, and this is where you in Denmark should begin to take an education. Like, if you wanted to go study for, I don't know how to explain it because it's a little complicated, but anyways, I say anyways a lot in this video, but don't mind that. So I went, after I finished the after school, I went to something called a production school, which is basically, there's a lot of what do you call it, different subjects that you can choose. Like, you could choose graphics and photography, which I chose, and you would just like take pictures and then edit it and learn how to work with a computer and its editing software and all that. And after I went there for around 6 months, that was when it really started taking off, where in my opinion, my schizophrenia was protruding, because I remember being very anxiety ridden. I was very paranoid because I thought everyone was out to get me, and I remember always having to look over my shoulder to be prepared if anything happened, so I could defend myself. Of course, nothing ever happened, but I genuinely thought there was gonna happen something was gonna happen. I thought that, like, seriously. Anyways, so that was when my mom told me to get a therapist again. And I also forgot to mention that when I was at the after school, I got to talk to another therapist slash psychologist. It didn't work out because she wasn't my cup of tea. Anyways, so I went to see a therapist, and that therapist was pretty overwhelmed by me because I could see it in her eyes. She thought, okay, this is not something I can handle. So from there, I got sent to get some conversations and meetings with a psychiatrist in the psychiatric hospital. So basically just talking to a psychiatrist, therapist in the psychiatric facilities without being admitted, of course. And I talked a good maybe 6 months with this woman. And we kind of figured out that I might need to be what's it called? Like, evaluated psychologically to see if I got any mental illness. And to me, it would make a lot of sense that I had some mental illness because, like, on my mom's side, she got bipolar, and my grandmother on my mom's side got bipolar, and my grandfather on my mom's side definitely also had some form of mental illness because, and I kid you not, I'm not lying when I'm saying this, my mom told me that it's not funny, but it's kind of tragic funny, you know. She told me one time that her father, my grandfather, ran around in the backyard chasing my grandmother and my mom with a fucking axe. Just chasing them around the backyard. What the hell? And so yeah, he was kind of crazy. So I thought there would be some logical reason why I would have a mental illness. So anyways, this I don't know what he was, but he was the guy that evaluated me. And after talking to him a few sessions, he told me that I have paranoid schizophrenia and what more, generalized anxiety is called, and that ADD is still there, and yeah. And that day when I got told that I had paranoid schizophrenia, I felt like my world was falling apart because I thought it meant that my life was over. Like, I couldn't get a job, I couldn't get married, I couldn't have children, I couldn't have, you know, all the normal stuff I wouldn't be able to have. But I've learned over the years, and when I first got my diagnosis, they chose to admit me to the psychiatric hospital to get a little break. They told me, oh yeah, I forgot to mention that I started here in Voices and when I went to the after school. So yeah, I remember it very vividly. I remember I was in my room with my best friend and I asked her, did you say something? And she was like, no, I didn't say anything. And then I asked her, did you hear that? And she was like, hear what? And I just said, never mind. So that was when I really first experienced that something wasn't right. Anyways, as I said, I felt broken. I felt lost, you know? And that was when my self-harm got worse because I felt so out of control. And yeah, so that first hospitalization went, I would say now, in the, when I think back, it was a very good experience, but because I was so sick at that time, my eating disorder got worse, which is not uncommon. It can get worse when you find yourself in such a situation. And I ended going down to probably 92 pounds or something, and I was really sick, and they not threatened me, but they told me if I didn't start eating soon, I would get put on a feeding tube. And I tell you now, I really did not want to get put in a feeding tube in, because I've heard it's very uncomfortable. So I started eating again, which is good. But yeah. So from that time until now, I have had around 23, I have almost stopped counting by this point, but almost 23 hospitalizations, and yes, that's basically my mental illness story, if I should say so myself. And I just want to tell you that you're not alone. You can feel so lost getting firstly a diagnosis, but also just being in it, experiencing it. And you feel so alone, and you feel so lost that you sometimes think that like everything I can do right now is just end it all, because there's nothing left for me to do here. And then I just have something to tell you. Even though this is the hardest part of your life that you ever experienced, you need to hold on. And I'm almost starting to cry, because I remember how down I was, and I've tried numerous times to kill myself, and I remember just laying in my bed and thinking, please just help me, and I even started to pray to God, but I'm an atheist, so it really shows that it was so bad, and I feel so helpless, like I would never get better, and I never gonna succeed anything. Holy fuck, I was. But yeah, I just want to tell you, you're not alone. And you need to talk to someone if you haven't already. You need to talk to someone, because if you don't talk to anyone and it just progresses and gets worse, you won't get better. And I tell you that now, you will not get better. You need to talk to someone, even though how hard it might be, because I'm the first one to tell you how hard it was for me to even open up about this, because it feels so private, and it feels like it almost like you're ashamed of what you're feeling and experiencing. And I just gotta tell you that you do not need to feel ashamed. I know that this doesn't take the shame feeling away from you, me saying that and telling you, but you do not need to feel shame about this, because you didn't choose to become mentally ill. It's not like you woke up one morning and thought, oh my god, I wished I was mentally ill. No one wishes to be mentally ill. So you really need to talk to someone, either if it's your parents or a friend or someone else in your family, or a psychiatrist or therapist or someone. Just talk to someone. And I recommend also getting a journal and write down your emotions and feelings and all that stuff in there, because that can also be very therapeutic if you don't really want to talk to anyone. so you can get your thoughts out and write how your day went and such things, because I do that every night. Well, I try to keep it every day, but sometimes I forget it, or I will fall asleep before getting to writing in it. But I really, really recommend it. Also, just remember, it's gonna be hard. It's not gonna be easy. I'll be the first person to tell you that it's not gonna be easy, and that thought about it not being easy and how scary it will be, it can lead you to not wanting to do anything about it. But I beg you, do it, because you will not regret it. You will not regret it, because you get so much better. And I know me saying that and you believing, no, I won't, like, fuck off, you can't tell me I'm getting better and all that shit. Because whenever people said, Emily, trust me, you'll get better, you'll succeed, you all the positive things, I would just be like, well, fuck you, because you do not know how I'm feeling inside, and I won't get better ever, and I'll just be this miserable human being, not being able to work, not being able to contribute, no, what the hell, contribute, I don't know, you know what I mean, to society. But please talk to someone, and I mean it, and you will get through this. You will get through this, and I mean it. I've had days where I thought the only answer to this would be suicide, and I tell you, it's not fun attempting suicide, and it's a serious matter. And if you feel like you want to commit suicide because it's all just seems so hopeless, please reach out, no matter who it is. Please reach out to someone you trust. And I know it can feel so shameful, but it's not your fault. You can't do anything about it. Like I said, you can't, it's not like you want to be mentally ill. It's not like you want to feel that way. So the only thing you can do, the only thing you can do at this point is reach out and get help, because you deserve help. You deserve being helped. You deserve it, because you're precious, and you are unique. You are you, and the world would not be the same without you. And I know you think, like, what the hell is she talking about? But I mean it. And I would hate to see someone that subscribes to my channel or anything like that be committing suicide. I won't be. And I mean it, please just reach out, please. And I'm looking away, and that's because I'm kind of uncomfortable, because this is a very serious topic, and I haven't let myself like feel or think about how bad it was going. So now it's kind of like a flashback to my worst time of my life. But yeah, you really need to reach out, and you will get better, I promise. And if not, I'll pay you $1,000. Is that a deal? And I know I will win, so you better fess up with that $1,000. But yeah, I mean it. And if anyone ever wants to talk to me about it, you will not be ignored. Maybe I'm a little slow to answer questions or anything, but that's just because I'm very unattentive, very not focusing and all that. But if you have any questions, or you want to talk and maybe talk about how you're feeling and what the next step in your journey is, and how this and that, you know what I mean. And I'd love to talk to you. I'm not even lying. I would love to talk to you And I would love that if you can talk to me and I'll be able to help you. Because it's the best feeling in the world to know that you helped someone today. It's the best feeling ever. So yeah, please just be safe and have a very good weekend. So yeah, that's it. Bye.